So anyway, so I went to JFK, and like I said, it was so scary to be a freshman, and so I already had it in my mind that I didn't like JFK. I went to school there. The upperclassmen were, into sports. JFK was one of the schools back in the day. It was 1986, by the way. And JFK was like the #1 school in football, the #1 school in track and field. They had the best cheerleaders. We had the best volleyball team, the best wrestling team, right? I mean, JFK was really up there in sports. So I am not an athlete at all. So you can imagine me being the little freshman that did not fit in because I did not fit in with the jocks or the cheerleaders or any of the guys that did sports. So I didn't like JFK. My freshman year completely sucked for me. But you know what? As I look back on that time in my life, I realized that was a choice that I made. I already decided from day one that freshman year was going to suck, that I didn't like JFK because I didn't choose that school. I actually wanted to go to GW, guys, because that's where the majority of my friends were at, were at GW. So, but I didn't have a choice because that was our district and I had to go to JFK. So anyway, yeah, I didn't like my freshman year. I hope that you guys are in a better place than I was and that you're enjoying high school life. So back then, I know it doesn't exist anymore, but I know you guys can cross and roll, right, with GCC? So back when I was in high school, GCC was actually a high school. It was a vocational high school. So I begged and pleaded with my mom and dad to send me to GCC. And when you choose to go to GCC, you register, you have to choose a trade. So my trade was marketing. Do you guys have a DECA program here? You guys know about DECA? Ms. Ian, do you guys have a DECA program here? No? DECA is Distributive Education Clubs of America. It's like marketing, the student store. Yeah, there's marketing. Yes? Okay, so marketing. So the marketing classes usually have what they call the DECA program, where you can go out and compete in marketing competitions and stuff like that. So I joined the marketing and distributive education trade at GCC. And because I chose that school, I walked in on the first day with a positive attitude. I was so excited to be reunited with all my friends that currently went to GW or transferred over to GCC to go to school there. And the upperclassmen, they were cool because GCC sucked at sports. We were like at the bottom when it came to sports, so I fit in. I fit in because the jocks just didn't really care about sports anyway. But I enjoyed school so much that I didn't really pay attention to my studies. So that straight A girl that I was in middle school wasn't the straight A girl that I was in high school anymore. And I'm telling you guys this stuff because you are at a point in your high school career right now that's going to make or break where you end up on graduation day, right? So if you make a decision to do bad things your freshman year, or if you don't focus on your studies, the scholarships that you are looking forward to getting in college, or just being maybe top 10 or top 20 in your class when you become seniors, all of those things can really disappear like that if at your freshman year you're not paying attention to staying in school and studying. So yeah, I had a lot of regrets back then. So this is my son. He's my oldest, Nicholas, and I actually had him when I was in high school, my senior year. So the summer before my senior year, I met his dad and got pregnant. And so my senior year was supposed to suck. That's kind of how I walked into the senior year because I was pregnant. But at the same time, I was a lot more mature. Wasn't that young freshman, naive, and wanted to mess around. I was actually more mature and knew that I was going to be a mom. So I needed to be a better influence for my kid when he was born. And so, remember I told you I was a straight A student right in middle school, National Junior Honor Society. So right before senior year started, I went to my counselor and I said, I want to take some honors classes because I need to beef up my GPA because I'm going to college. And she kind of looked at me kind of puzzled and she's like, you don't get to choose to be in honors class. the honors classes get to choose you. And I was like, well, how do I get in then? Because I need to get in. I need to bring up my GPA. So she said, you gotta go talk to the teachers, the professors that were teaching these honors classes, and you have to convince them why you are worthy of taking their classes. So that's what I did. Pregnant, you know, not a lot going on for me, but I knew that I needed to do something more positive in my life. So I went and I talked to the two professors that were teaching the two honors classes. By the way, they were advanced literature and freshman college English. So freshman college English also not only gave me a high school credit, but it bumped up my credits in high school because it was an honors class, and it also gave me college credits if I paid for it. So I had to write an essay for both those classes and explain to the teachers why I was worthy of taking their classes. How many of you think I got into honors classes? Right on. I like you guys already. I got into both honors classes, and I got an A in both those classes, and I got straight A's my senior year. Woo. The sad thing is that I should have done that my freshman year, my sophomore year, and my junior year. Imagine where I would have been if I had done that. Probably top 10. Probably getting a scholarship to go to college. But I totally messed up. You know, so you guys have this opportunity right now as freshmen to be the best that you can be, right? So don't do what I did. Learn from the lessons that I had learned, but when it was a little too late. Okay? So anyway, so this is my son. Go ahead and click next one. So we got married. His dad and I got married at the age of 19. So imagine, we were still really young. We actually grew up and became adults together. And then fast forward, next.
You still look the same.
Thank you. I like you. So fast forward, this is our family now. So Desiree is my oldest daughter. And then Kiana also went to GW, and she graduated in 2014, right? Mm-hmm. Kiana graduated in 2014. And these are my grandchildren. I have 6 now. 6 grandchildren. 3 kids, a daughter-in-law, a son-in-law. Yeah, pretty big family. But you know what? I'll tell you guys, it was a struggle. Am I blessed? I am absolutely blessed. But you know what? It was hard. And it didn't have to be that way. Okay? And it doesn't have to be that way for you either. But it really depends on your circumstances and the attitude that you choose and how you go forward with every decision that you make in life. Okay, next. So let's talk about careers now. How many of you have ever flown in an airplane? Yeah? Wasn't that awesome?
Yeah.
How many of you have family members that work for United Airlines? Immediate family? Do you have flight benefits? Any of you guys?
My grandma used to work for
Who's your grandma? Oh, Delta. Oh, okay. So Desiree is not a military brat. She's an airline brat. She was born when I was working for Continental back in 1993 was what she was born, and I started at Continental in 1992. So imagine being able to fly for free all those years, guys. Amazing ride. Did I say when I was younger and your age that I wanted to work for the airline so I could fly for free? No, I didn't. Guess what I wanted to be? Anybody? Can anybody guess what I wanted to be? Oh, what? Go ahead, say it again. Flight attendant? No, I didn't want to join the airline. Something else.
Oh, a teacher?
I wanted to be a lawyer.
Oh, yeah, they make good.
I wanted to be a lawyer, guys. Ever since I was a little girl, I always wanted to be a lawyer because I like to debate with people, which is my thing. But I never made it there. And you saw I had a kid my senior year of high school. I had to become a mom and a wife at the age of 19. Okay, not an easy road to take. Do I wish sometimes that I could have been a lawyer? Absolutely. You know, I like to watch Law and Order. But my husband always said to me, I don't like lawyers, so I'm glad you didn't become a lawyer. So I guess it kind of was fate, right, that I didn't become a lawyer because I married a man that didn't like lawyers. So anyways, Continental Airlines soon became United Airlines. Go ahead and click next. So my journey with Continental started in 1992 when I joined the customer service division. All of you guys that rode on airplanes, the people that check you in, and then you take your boarding passes when you're going to board the airplane, that was me. That's the job that I started at, and I was there for about 3 years, and then I decided I like being in customer service, but I don't like taking orders. So guess what I did? I became a boss. I became a boss. I applied for a supervisor position, and I became a supervisor for all the customer service agents that I started with. And I will tell you that it wasn't easy. When you go into the workforce and you start off in like a frontline, position, starting at the bottom and you work your way up, the people that are left behind that didn't move up with you may not always appreciate that you wanted to move up. So just kind of keep that in mind. I lost a lot of friends when I became a supervisor because now I had to discipline them. I had to coach them. I had to tell them when they weren't doing things right. And they used to be my friends, and I thought that as my friends, they would understand that this was my role now. But not everybody did. So I lost some friends along the way. But that was the choice that I made to move up, right? You always want to do better and become better in anything that you do. So after customer service, I was like, I worked graveyard. It was kind of hard on the body. So I'm like, I need a regular 8 to 5 job. So there was another supervisor position in the contact center. Anybody know what the contact center is? Anyone heard of that before? Reservations, heard of that? Okay, the people that you call right on the phone to make your reservations, to book your flights and all that, that is the contact center. So I wasn't an agent there because I wasn't an agent anymore. I was now a leader in this company. So I became a supervisor for this group. And now I was able to work regular 8 to 5 hours, Monday through Friday, Saturday, Sunday off, holidays off. It was great. So again, this was me moving forward and doing something better for myself, right? My kids were older. I didn't need to work graveyard anymore and be home with them during the day. I could actually go to work while they were in school, and then they can come home because they were all in either high school or middle school. Okay? My last job with United was in the Human Resources Department. How many of you have heard of Human Resources before? Yeah. So Human Resources is the department that hires people. It's also the department that helps to fire people that are not doing a good job. We also are the ones that enforce policy and procedure. We're the ones that create policy and procedure. We're the ones that train. So, if you're the kind of person that likes to create laws or rules or regulations, you like to teach, and you don't necessarily want to be a teacher of kids, you want to be a teacher of adults, that's kind of a good job to be at. I loved being in human resources. All of my experience through Continental and United got me to this place, and this place got me to where I am today. Go ahead. Part of working for the airline is you get to travel for free. So this is me and my husband on one of our anniversary trips, and we went to Thailand. So we got to walk with tigers, we got to go do shop in the floating market, and we got to dress up like Thai people and model. So that was just one of our many trips that we took. But for me, even better than taking those free trips like that was taking free trips and working. So not only was I getting free trips, but I was getting paid to travel, and they paid for my hotel, and they paid for my meals. So if I was supposed to be like maybe in Chicago, because that's where our headquarters is, to go for a meeting or for training, airline pays for me. I get to ride first class, guys, for free. Okay? This was one of our trips to Hong Kong. We went there for an HR conference, and at the end of our second day of the conference, we went on a ferry across Hong Kong to the other islands to have dinner. Right? So amazing things that you can do when you work for an airline. But the best part for me was the people, right? Just like you guys today have your classmates, right? All of your friends that you have here, the new friends that you're going to continue to make through your high school career, those friendships, those relationships are going to mean something to you later on down the road. So all of my coworkers, I love them. I mean, we grew up together. We learned together. We went through some hardships together, but at the end of the day, we were family. Everybody at United, we treat each other like family. My kids, both my daughters were born when I was working for United. And it wasn't always about work. We played a lot. So when you guys decide where you want to be in life, make sure you choose a job that is fun for you. Don't choose a job just because you need to make money or because it makes big money. Because a lot of times big money doesn't necessarily mean happy employee, right? So do what you want to do what feels right, do what makes you happy, do what makes you want to have fun, right? Fun is about creating memories. after 24 years of service with United, I finally was able to retire. So I'm retired. I retired last year, actually. It's been a whole year since I've been retired from United. 24 years, and now I can fly for free until the day I die. How does that sound? Doesn't that sound awesome? Right? Yeah. So the airline industry has so many opportunities for careers, customer service, reservations, human resources. Guys, if you wanted to go and work on the ramp, that's where my son actually started. He works in the ramp part-time, and then he's in the guard also as a second job. You can become an aircraft mechanic. They make great money. What about a pilot or a flight attendant? Those guys make big money. Sometimes, I work in HR, so I can see everybody's salary. I'll be looking at their pay, and I'll be going, gosh, I got into the wrong field. They're making way more money than me, and I'm the boss. So really, you could be anything in the airline industry: marketing, sales, accounting, payroll. So even if you were looking at being, in administrative or law enforcement or anything like that, we have every single job that you can imagine in the airline industry, and you get to fly for free, right? So just think about that, okay? There's a reason why I retired so early. Can anybody guess what this picture means? Anybody? Yes, he did. So my husband, Desiree's dad, passed away. Just let me take a deep breath here. He passed away in 2015, a tragic motorcycle accident in front of First Wine Bank. I don't know if you guys remember that. And after he died, all that fun that I was having at United was no longer fun for me. And it wasn't because I didn't like the people, or it wasn't because I didn't like the job. It was because my life had significantly changed. When you lose so deeply like that, everything that you've learned about life sometimes looks different. A lot of times it's different. And for me and for my kids, it was different. Losing him was different. How many of you guys have ever lost someone close to you? Right? So you guys know what I mean, right? You know what I'm talking about. It sucks. It hurts. We cry, we're sad, we're angry. So many different emotions. So I decided that corporate America wasn't for me anymore, that I needed to do something different with my life. And I needed to do something that gave me more purpose and meaning. And not that my job at United didn't give me that. Again, I just changed. The person that I was when he was alive was now a different person. And so I needed to give what I call purpose to my pain. Good. So now I'm what you call a grief recovery specialist. So you know that first slide, from here to there, my business. So I provide a service. And there's a few things that I do in this business. I am a grief recovery specialist, so I help people through their own loss, through their own grief. I provide workshops, I do one-on-one sessions, I do lots of speaking engagements to talk to people about grief. And I also became certified in becoming a coach. Anyone ever heard of a life coach before? Right? So that's what I am. I'm also a life coach. And part of my job as a life coach is to also help people through life. So not necessarily grief, but sometimes people have relationship problems. Sometimes people are stuck in their career and not sure where they want to go. Sometimes people have financial difficulty and they don't know how to move out of that. Or maybe it's their health and they're needing a little bit more guidance on how to become healthier in their life. A transformational coach does all of that. So now my life is all about helping others. That's what I do. And it gives me meaning after my husband died. So I had to make a lot of different choices in life, and I had to learn from all of that. So what does that mean for you guys? So there's 3 things that I want to leave you guys with today. And these are the 3 things that I've learned through my journey in life, but most recently because of the death of my husband. The first one is every moment matters. Right now where you're at in this freshman academy, you guys have an opportunity to make a difference in your school. You have an opportunity to be great and make your entire high school career awesome. Okay? Don't screw that up because you're being influenced by someone who says that they want you to skip school, or by someone who says, you know what, don't do your homework, whatever, the teacher doesn't care. You have to make decisions for yourself. Because a lot of you raised your hand when I asked you if you lost someone close to you. And when you lose deep like that, you will know that life is too short to make mistakes like that, right? So every moment matters, guys. Remember that. You guys are at a great place in your high school career right now. Lesson number 2. Strength doesn't come from what you can do. It comes from overcoming the things you once thought you couldn't, right? As I was going through life at a very young age, everyone always told me that I was a strong person. And that's because I had parents that raised me to be strong and tough. But after my husband died, the word strong had a whole different meaning for me, right? Strength now for me is being in touch with your emotions, admitting when you do something wrong, overcoming your fears by doing something that you thought you couldn't do, right? I lost the other half of me when he died. I was an adult with him. I didn't know how to be an adult without him. I was scared, guys. I was so scared, but I had to overcome those fears and prove to myself and be a leader to my kids to show them that I can do this. Mom can do this, right? So I did. And I continue to do that. There's still a lot of things in my life that I fear because he was my backbone. He was my biggest fan. He was my #1 supporter. I don't have that anymore. So I have to walk through life remembering the things that we did together, the things that he taught me, and be proud of what I'm doing because I know that he's watching over me, right? So those of you that lost, whether it was a parent or a grandparent or a godparent, or older brother or sister, they're watching over you, right? So make me proud and do things that are great while you're still alive. And the last lesson that I want to leave you guys is don't ever be average, right? Be here to be awesome. Be here to be great. You're human, we're all human, and we're all going to make mistakes. It's the choices that we make. It's the reactions that we have for whatever circumstances come our way. Life's going to throw you a curveball all the time. It's how you react to those curveballs that's going to make a difference in your life, right? So I could have been the widow that was so lost in darkness and sadness and became very mean and uninviting and unsociable and just didn't care about life. I could have become an alcoholic, a druggie. I could have been many, many negative things after my husband died. But guess what? I chose the other way because I knew that I know that he's still watching over me, and I know that I want to still make him proud. So whatever your motivation is in life, whether it's yourself, whether it's your parents, whether it's your boyfriend or your girlfriend, your grandparents, be awesome. Always strive to be awesome. Who has questions? You have questions?